can. I want to be in flow. I want to be happy. I'm working on that. Smile, because balance is everything, literally everything. But if we're going to make up a story, make it be one that's positive. It would not be called Alex Perry on Fire. It would be called Alex Perry in Flow. Welcome to the Alex Perry on Fire podcast. Today's going to be a shorter episode. And what it's really about is we've had some questions from the initial return to the podcast episode where I came back from my summer break. So some questions to go a little bit deeper on what that meant and where I am now.
The first question we have is, you talked about going back into your past. What did it look like for you during that break when you actually explored that?
Yeah, so going back into the past, it's funny because so many times people say, let's not look at the past. And the past is can bring up, depression, and the future is anxiety, and the present is now. But the past shapes you. It shapes how you think and feel. And for me, what it did is it put me in a place where I really wanted to control my environment a lot, as much as I could. And that's not the best place to operate. And I learned from my past, and we can call them traumas. I don't like saying traumas as much now because I've healed from them. I understand them. I understand that they made me who I was. And a lot of that was great. Some of it not so great, but a lot of it great. But you understand where I was protecting around certain things. And so going back in the past and understanding, well, I didn't like that, I went when I went to boarding school at a young age, and I didn't feel comfortable in certain settings, and it made me feel alone, or it made me feel like I couldn't trust certain people, or that I had to lean on my twin brother, or certain things, and understanding how that's now manifested in my daily life, and whether that was controlling my decisions and how I was living and how I was protecting against deeper relationships, loving relationships, trusting relationships, etc. Maybe triggers where someone did something I didn't like. It might be, I can't trust this person, and kicking them out of my life, or looking at them a certain way, or not being open to, and I'm really good at the micro, the macro version of explaining my feelings, and micro, not so much. I'm working on that. And micro would be giving you very specific examples of just, as I told you, but going back and saying, really being in control of my environment, planning things ahead, not being spontaneous, not be willing to change plans or be late, or if I commit to something, changing my mind, even if I have a good reason for it, or holding on to old relationships because of fear of upsetting people, or people pleasing, or holding other people's, traumas out of wanting to be a people pleaser or helping again. So just really learning that, but also learning how that was affecting my daily life. And it's not fair to me. I want to, quote unquote, fire up as much as I can. I want to be in flow. I want to be happy. And when you hold other people's feelings, emotions, and their weight, it makes it a much more difficult task, and you're not really giving enough to yourself. So I went back, realized what was for me, what's not for me, and then playing with it. Then you got to play with it in your daily life. And it can be overwhelming for some, and it was overwhelming for me for quite some time, for a couple months. And I think now that I understand it more, now that I know it's not as serious as I was making it, now that I trust myself and less other people that I was just listening to, it's more fun. It's playful, and you get to play with energy and just higher levels of consciousness. And that's actually a fun way of living in this life.
Another question we had is, when you talked about balance and I guess getting balance after the break or as of recent, what does that look like for you? What is balance like right now?
I smile because balance is everything. I mean, literally everything. I think it's the way we need to live our lives. And it will be a constant challenge for me in my life in balance. But why I'm smiling is because for so long I didn't have a target. I didn't know what I was chasing. In work, it's so easy to know what you're chasing. Selling real estate, putting deals together, developing, buying, whatever it may be in your business. That was my business. And on this other side, there's no target. Yes, it's yourself and loving yourself more and all this stuff, but it's such a moving target. And it's so internal that it's so difficult. And that's why I'm smiling. The balance is just the inner weave. It's to know that you're doing both the right way, or you're giving both the attention it deserves, and you're giving yourself compassion, because you're never going to be in complete balance. And when you are, that's awesome. But it's just playing with that and knowing that you need both. I need both. I spent so much time and effort in becoming an expert in what I do. And I am an expert in what I do, and I am good at it. And that feeds my confidence, and it is incredible. And part of why I'm good at it is also because I connect with people, and I do care with other people. And it's not just about money, and it's not just about finding the house. It's so much deeper. And so it's recognizing how when those things are in unison, that's what makes me me. That's what makes me good at my job. That's what makes me a good friend, a good brother, a good partner, a good everything. And that's where I get the love for myself. And so I smile because it's fun. That's the fun. And it takes time to get there, and you can lose it. You can lose that feeling. So the balance is understanding that for me, that's my target. That's my target. It's not my purpose, but it's the target of how I want to live.
In regards to what you mentioned about the hairdresser and someone who is maybe getting a little sick of their job or needing to find that balance or something new, what would be your advice to that person?
Yeah, it's such a great question, because I've dealt with it myself. Is what makes you you? What fuels you? What makes you feel purposeful? Like you're using your brain or your emotions, or what is the core of what drives you and makes you happy, right? Happiness and connecting, all these things. And I think I've learned it through myself. I love sales. I am good at sales. I love them. And so sometimes I need to find a different way to sell, or a different product to sell, or a different business to sell. But it's in the realm of what I'm good at, as opposed to saying, hey, let's go try something completely different that takes me completely off the path that I was on. A path that I'm good at, a path where people recognize me for being good at, a path that puts me in touch with people and connecting with people, and saying, wait a second, I'm going to go give all of that up because right now I'm not feeling a certain way. And so I think the advice I'd give, and I've taken it myself, is realize what gives you energy in your daily life. Stick with what you've built a business or a life around, but see how that can complement it. See and ask questions. Ask people questions. Everyone's going through something good and bad, and everyone's learned from other things, and people have been in different situations. Ask people questions. What do you think about this? Or would I be good at this? Or I have a connection here. How do I grow this? Or I've been thinking about this. What are the pitfalls? What are the gains? Just ask. Talk to people. I feel like the silence or being quiet can be lonely. It can be isolating. And I think that's where a lot of people go into bad places. And the difficult things is a lot of people don't have people to talk to. That's the challenge. You got to put yourself out there. That's the work for a lot of people. Fortunate enough in my life, it's not for me. I've got a lot of people around me. And then I think you've got to be careful when you do ask these people. You're asking someone you trust. So if you're asking questions but you're not listening, then either you don't trust the person you're asking, or you're just waiting to hear an answer you want. If you're truly trying to understand different things about the way you're going about it, then go to people you trust and take their advice. And what's the worst thing that can happen? As long as you wake up and keep moving.
One of the words that you use all the time is flow. And one of the audience members asked, what does flow actually mean?
It's the best question, because if I could go back a year and a half when we were starting this podcast, it would not be called Alex Perry on Fire. It would be called Alex Perry in Flow, because I think that's where I am trying to get on a daily basis. And flow means you're just moving. You're not overthinking. You're present. Life is coming at you, or what do they say? Life is coming to you, not at you. I don't know. But the point is, it's just so easy. That's the point. Doesn't matter. The sayings don't mean anything. You're just living. You're embracing life. You're connecting. Time is slowed down, and the world is a beautiful place, and everything is an opportunity. That's what flow is to me. That's where I aim to get. I write in my gratitude journal sometimes, what would make today great? Being in flow. I don't write being on fire. Fire is incredible. Fire is elevated. But fire also can come down really quickly. Flow is a much more manageable state. It's a much more stable place to operate from. And so as much as I love being on fire, and I love it, flow is where I want to be as much as possible.
Another question, because you've had so many guests on here that have all told different stories. And the question is, between all the guests or anyone you've met recently, who is someone that has changed your perspective or worldview maybe dramatically? And what is it that changed in you?
It's so good and it's on the spot, but I'll go with Aaron Lazar, who has ALS, and I follow him on Instagram and he sends me emails. He had to get to a place where he is fighting the fight, the hardest fight in the world, to understand what family is, what love is, what being present, which, what self-love is, which, he said he used to, hate himself and the struggles. And now that he's in the fight of his life, everything is in perspective and he's slowing it down and he's just trying to tell people and himself to survive. And so when I hear his message and I don't think differently or slow down or hold someone in a different regard or love differently or connect or appreciate the world I'm living in, the fact that I can walk into this room 2 feet, smile, eat whatever the hell I want at night and go and do and be and feel like that's the most incredible place to operate from, that's on me. And so it's really affected my life and also the way I watch and see things is, if I'm going to take the time to do it, and it hits me, then let's put it into my daily life. I think something that I've learned so much and is so deep is the story we tell ourselves. You want that story to be true, but more so, like we've talked about, manifesting, believing, the story you tell yourself is so important. I went on a vacation last week. That vacation was the most incredible vacation I've ever been on. It gave me energy. It's changed the way I see the world right now. And I want to share that feeling with other people. That's my story. Whether that happened or not, if I believe it, and that's how I see the story, that's what I will live by. It will come from me. If I tell myself a sad story, I'll live by that. And I think sometimes we make up a story. But if we're going to make up a story, make it be one that's positive. Make it one that we can move forward with. And I've learned that when you're down, when you're not feeling right, you'll tell yourself a sad story. You'll tell yourself, some people prefer to it. It's an easier, more comfortable place to live. It's crazy, but it's true. And I've been there, so I can talk about it. But telling a story and living that story over and over again. I went and did ayahuasca a couple weeks ago. It was a crazy, wild experience. I came out of that and it was very difficult, saying that was life-changing. That was life-changing. That was life-changing. I got my voice back. I must have told myself hundreds of times I got my voice back. What does that do? It makes me feel like I got my voice back. It makes me think when something doesn't feel right to me, I'm going to use my voice more again. It gives me crazy more confidence because it's the story I'm telling myself over and over and over again. And so I encourage that. I encourage that so much because that can be something that changes. There's not a lot of things that can switch the lights on and off, that can change the way you feel right now and right then. But something like that can, literally in seconds, the way you're telling yourself a certain story and believing it will change the way you're operating in the world. So as I say that, come up with a story that gives you energy. Start telling yourself that story right now and repeating it. See how that affects your day. I guarantee you it's a different day from yesterday. And I want to end there because each month we plan on doing this Q&A where you can ask questions and hopefully I can give the answers to them. But I'll tell you right now, I'm on this journey still as well with y'all. So together, we're going to hopefully learn how we can help each other with things that come up and challenge ourselves to tell a different story. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Alex Perry on Fire. It means so much to me and the wonderful team that makes this all possible. I'm now passing the flame to you. Please follow, like, and subscribe so you can always stay up to date. Thanks again, and stay fired up.